My role model.
Yes.
And along with Walter Gollander and William B. Williams and Martin Block and Maurice Hart and all of remember a fellow named Joe O'Brien?
Remember the name well.
He was my co-host when I was a kid starting out, and to be here on this occasion, I'll just do a couple minutes, and I know you have many celebrities out there, but I did a show this week with Peter Wolf. Remember the name Peter Wolf?
Jay Giles band. What a good guy.
And he was in town with a band at that time, 1985. He was married to Faye Dunaway at that time, and they had 2 platinum records at that time called Centerfold and Freeze Frame. And they left one of those in my studio, which subsequently burned. But I'll tell you, to be here is very exciting for me, and I appreciate the introduction, Teddy. Maybe it was almost like a eulogy, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just a pleasure that you were able to come down here today.
Please.
Walter Gollander's here. Yeah, of course, Walter. The microphone is yours.
I want to say it's a compliment to you, Teddy Smith, or Smythe, and to Bob O'Brien, and to Rick Russo, and everyone. Where, in this day and age, do you get Cousin Bruce Morrow and Joe Franklin in the same time span on your show? That may be your first in radio historicness, if I can make up a word.
I think it really is.
You've got 2 of the heaviest hitters ever in the world of broadcasting.
And I was talking about my role models. I got to include when I was a little kid. I was a big admirer of Joey Reynolds, I understand.
Think he would ever show up at a show like this?
So,
I understand Joey's coming down here. There he is, Joey Reynolds, ladies.
Is he here?
Joey's
right there.
Joey's here
Well, we're going to have Joey come in a few minutes, but getting back, I just want to extend a great deal of gratitude and admiration to you, Joe Franklin, for all the great
work. I'm here with my co-producer, Rick Russo. And I just, by the way, Teddy, I got a little surprise. I got a couple of friends in the Bronx there. Shirley and Kevin Bird, and they're organizing a Teddy Smith fan club.
Well, that's great.
And a big following in Clifton, New Jersey.
Now, I know you interviewed Mickey Rooney. I had him on the radio here.
Macaroni?
Oh, Macaroni.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right?
Who haven't you interviewed?
I had
everybody.
I had 5 U.S. presidents, and Charlie Chaplin, Ronald Reagan 5 times, and Frank Sinatra 4 times.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. I think the one that I wanted the most but wouldn't cooperate with me was Greta Garbo. I wanted Greta Garbo. We were very dear friends. We'd meet around town. We'd have coffee. I'd go to her film retrospectives, but she would not. I offered her a blank check signed. Any amount of money, up to $10. Any amount of money, and she denied it. She just demurred. She wouldn't go anywhere. She wanted to be alone, probably.
What's great about Joe is that you've helped all these people in their careers and their lives. You've been a great force in their life.
My favorite guest was probably Georgie Jessel. Remember Georgie Jessel? That's why I mentioned about the eulogy. When you gave me the introduction, I felt, Georgie made his whole career doing eulogies. He'd do 5, 6 a day, and he said the exact same thing. He would say, my dear friend, my beloved friend, my childhood friend, my best friend. And one day the cough was a little bit off. He looked down and he said, oh my God, I knew this man. Walt?
I have to interrupt just for a second to blow your horn a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rick Russo was talking about the archives and what you are submitting to the Broadcasting Hall of Fame. Why don't you tell our listeners about this ongoing project?
Well, I did 28,000 episodes of the Joe Franklin Show. I was the first one to do late night TV, and I'm out of 28,000 still. I only got about 500 shows, with the rest of them we used to tape over the shows to save money on the tapes. But Rick Russo, Rick, how many we got so far? Would you say that we're ready?
How many, Rick?
Oh, we have about 400 at the moment.
Wow.
Yep.
Incredible.
Presidents and Al Jolson, Eddie Cantor, Rudy Valley, Kate Smith, Otto Preminger, Walter Gollander, Teddy Smith, Joey
We're going to send you,
James
Petrecca is going to send you the one-of-a-kind Al Alberts and myself on your show back in 1987.
That was a highlight. That was a classic. I've been to James' store. The store's got to be seen to be believed. It's huge. It's acres and acres of memorabilia out there.
Joe, what have you enjoyed most about all these years in show business?
People who ask me guidance and wisdom, I tell them, don't bump into the furniture. Lie on the back of your resume, and they ask me what's their motivation. I say your motivation is your paycheck on Saturday night. That's the big thing. But the show business is not what it used to be. It's collapsing. It's really very quiet. As Pat Cooper would say, it's all over. It's all over. It's really all over. So to see you come to life in this beautiful little studio here,
thank you.
I'm so proud of you.
What was your biggest thrill of all the many years in radio and television? What was the highlight?
I would say the show I did with Bing Crosby. I always thought of Bing as being what you might call mechanically reproduced. I thought of being on radio, on TV, on records and movies. But when he walked toward me, flesh and blood. That one time I think I melted. I just I did, and ironically, Bing was not romantic. Bing was very aloof, very cold, very icy. But that day with me, he was just like an old-time boy. But it was
You
just,
brought out the humanity in
very
him,
well
didn't
said.
you?
I remember when you had Red Fox on and
Oh yeah.
Rip Taylor, and I mean, just the list goes
And
on.
I go back to the days of severe censorship. I was taken off the air once. My sponsor was Camel cigarettes. And I said 9 out of 10 doctors who tried Camels went back to women. And I was taken off the air for 2 weeks.
How do you like these reality shows these days? You like any of them?
I think they're only going to be a temporary fad. I think it's going to go back eventually to not my kind of sweetness, never again, but not as severe, as hard-hitting, as mean-spirited as nowadays. It's getting, I mean, they're making fun of too many people and a little hard to take. I think that we need a little turnover soon, some new faces.
As far as the books that you've written, I know you've written over so many books. I know you're working on a few now.
I've written 23 books. My last one was called Joe Franklin's Great Entertainment Trivia Game, which has already sold 75,000 copies, and they're all in my house. So it's,
I still got some of your records of Ian Farton.
That's right, still holding them from 1932, right? So, Teddy, I know that we got a lot to say, but I'm going to go outside now.
We have a lot of folks who are listening. This is seriously at I can't say Dunkin' Donuts in Belleville because the president of the Belleville fan club, Mike Rizzoli, from the Knights of Columbus, has about 10 or 12 people listening to the show on the radio in the Dunkin' Donuts in Belleville.
So what do you think of live radio, or getting back to the way that you did radio and television and Ed Sullivan and all of that sort of
I think I'm the last holdout for live radio, and what you're doing now to bring it back, resuscitate it. It's just exciting and thrilling, and there's no substitute for what you might call live radio. I go back to shows that were done only for the people at home. I never had a studio audience. Only once with the Jay Giles Band had a studio audience, but this is...
people who call in want to know if you've ever appeared in movies.
I'm in Ghostbusters, I'm in Broadway Danny Rose, I'm in 29th Street, I'm in... One of my pictures was so bad they had to do retakes before they put it up on the shelf. That's how bad that picture was.
Good line.
We have a very interesting guest in a few moments. Joey Reynolds, of course, Don K. Reed, and Diane Ravitch, who wrote a wonderful piece